All right, excellent. Here we go. Yeah, right. We're about right on time here. 3 o'clock. We are right on time. So,
Yeah.
welcome everybody to yet another exciting episode of Learn from Silvio.
Well, learn
So,
from Moby Zit. Moby first. Oh, shit.
Mob is it. We're going back in time.
We're
Just a
going
second
back
here.
15 years, actually.
Yes. Let me put this in here
Oh,
too.
boy, we have done so many Moby things. Yeah.
I
There you
know
go.
it's like
All right.
I still remember the Ma Visit days. So, all right, everybody, welcome into what I also just put in the chat is our white label meeting, which happens this Thursday. Go ahead and register for that one if you're looking to explore the white label platform and everything that there is about that. Please go ahead and register for that. It's going to be a fun one. Going to go over some product management training in the white label, which is a very, very powerful feature. Hello, Chris, still in Switzerland. Hey, Vince, North Carolina. Awesome. And of course, we have Takeo always here with us too. So before we get kind of going, as we do at the very beginning, is kind of open it up for any questions you may have or you may have encountered over the coming week. Hi, Stuart.
Hey, Stuart.
If nothing, we will get right into it. And again, we're going to be going over all the widgets, not today, mind you, obviously, but we're going to be going, I think, the blog widget Silvio has
Yes,
on the.
exactly.
Okay. So we'll
Exactly.
get right
Thank
there.
you, Scotty. And thank you all for coming. Stuart, yes, I guess, as usual, just to.
As long as you registered, which you are registered or you wouldn't be in here right now, everybody who registers gets a replay. Plus, also, if you are looking to look at past webinars, in your platform, you should have the subscription link for our YouTube channel. Log into your platform and go ahead and subscribe there, so you can get all the latest webinars that are posted in our YouTube channel too, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah, and there you go. Greetings,
What
everyone.
about your hat? Wait, Scotty, answer about your hat because I love it too. There's James that is asking, where can I get one? I guess at the moment it's very exclusive.
Very expensive hat because they're all one ofs. They're custom. They're all custom hats. I've always wanted to start a Moby first little bit of a apparel line, and I'm a hat guru. I do love my baseball hats. I do have a whole lot of hair underneath here. You just never see it. I wanted to get married with my hat on, but my wife wouldn't let me. Uh, but soon I'll have some. This is all like actually like embroidered. What we want to do later on too as well is you can see that it's different colors is actually having different colors for different levels that you achieve with this. But anyway, but thanks on wanting the hat too, James. I will
Yeah.
be available Wednesday. Need some Moby First swag. Vincent, nice. Yeah, they're good hats too. So, alrighty,
All
ready?
righty. So let's get started. Okay.
Let's get
Well, first
started.
of
I'll
all,
hand it
as
over to
usual,
Silvio.
yeah, as usual, I'll jump back and forth from sharing the screen. So from going to the platform to the questions here to the chat. Feel free to ask any question related to Mobi first, obviously, or to web development in general, or to business development through the web and all that. As we said, today we're going to talk about the blog. All right. So hopefully we will be able to to give a complete understanding of the blog widget um, in one session today. If not, we will talk about more in the next one. Um, as usual, I'm trying to share my screen, but at the moment it's not. So let's wait until Webinar Ninja is happy. Um, so again, as we said, we're going to talk about the blog widget, and you have to remember to let's start by. Okay, am I sharing my screen?
Not quite yet.
Not yet. Okay, let's
No.
wait. Okay,
Here it comes. Here it
now
comes.
I'm sharing. All right. First of all, I want to clarify a couple of things because the approach that we have in the website building and in general with our platform is that, as you know well, we see pages as let's say composition, as a collection of widgets. Okay, which is a very different approach, for example, from WordPress, right? Where pages are, let's say, element on themselves. The main reason being that WordPress was born as a platform, as a software for creating blogs. That's what it was. Then it expanded. But if you are a WordPress developer and if you use WordPress or you've tried to use WordPress, you will notice that this origin, right, this genetic thing is always there to bite you, because it was not meant to be used for e-commerce. It was not meant for, let's say, even an informational website. It was meant for a blog. That is the logic. In our case, we built a platform and a system which was a lot more generic. So where you could basically put widgets into a page. Why am I saying this? I know you already know this, but while this is clear and pretty self-explanatory, for example, in the content block widget, right, where you put a piece of content, a title, some text, an image, or something like that, the blog. I mean, it seems a bit weird that the blog is also a widget, but in reality, our widgets have depth, right? So you can have a widget, the blog, which then has some elements within it, so which are the blog posts. What that gives you the flexibility to do is that you can add in a page. First of all, you can add as many blog widgets as you can, as you want, in a website, right? So you can create, it's not that you don't necessarily need to have one blog. You can have all of the pages that you want, which each one with a separate blog. Okay, so this allows you to spread your categories, or spread in general the how you organize your blog in a much more, let's say, granular way. In addition to that, in the same page where you add the blog, you can add other widgets. So you can add I don't know, a content block which promotes your products, for example, or you can add buttons, or you can add a download, which is usually what you use, for example, for lead magnets and stuff like that, right? So that is a little bit I wanted to start by saying this. It's not just a blog, it's a widget, exactly like the others, with more depth, with more flexibility, and with more, let's say, enhancements, right? All this being said, so we are now testing in a page, in an empty, let's say, page, and so you see that we have these pages. Okay, so we have the home page, and then we have the blog page, and as you see, we have just added the blog widget. That's all you have to do. By the way, you could even have two blog widgets in the same page. Probably doesn't really make sense, but if you wanted to, it's not an issue. You can have as many blog widgets in the same page. Okay, so we have had this. Now let's go over the basic usage of the blog, and then we'll see more advanced and more interesting stuff. We have already, as usual, with any widget that you have on MobiFirst, you always have this intro section here, which basically adds a title, a subtitle for SEO geeks. That's an H1, an H2, and then possibly also an intro text, right? So what you could do is, this is our blog, and then this is the subtitle H2, and we center all this, and so this would be put above the blog, okay? Because clearly the blog in itself will not have any titles, right? That's how you add the title. Okay, then you see that when you don't have any content in the blog, it shows just no items to show for this list. All right. Then we have the AI powered auto blog. We have already talked about this when we talked about the AI features. I would say that we will not go over this in today. We can talk about this if that's if you, let's say, missed the webinars that we did about the AI features. And in general, we can always talk about this. Then, if you have questions and if you actually want to see it, let's see if we will have time today. Let's use the blog in, let's say, a pretty standard way, right? So obviously the most important part, apart from the AI section, is the blog post, where you actually add new posts. Okay, so you just click on add a new post clearly, and then here you add the title. This is the title, and then a subtitle of the um, post. And then you have the abstract. Okay, what the abstract is, the section is the part, the little text that is shown usually in lists. Okay, so it's again, um, when you present the blog in the list, where when you share it and syndicate it with RSS, for example, and in general, that's, let's say, the part that is shown. So this is the abstract, abstract, an intro text shown in lists. Okay, and then we have the main text. So here we could generate a text with AI. We have seen already this. So let the system about the benefits of mobile first design. Okay, web design. Okay, so we type a prompt here, and then we let it go. Okay. In the meantime, let me check. Let me check if we have any question here. Hello, Chandra. Okay, Chandra, what is the advantage of having many blog widgets in one page? No. It was just rather than having many blog widgets in one page, which could be an option, right? Which could be a solution if you want to share, spread, let's say, different categories, for example, or some options like that. It's not really. It's not really. What I meant is that, again, the blog is a widget just like any other. So you can create your page using and composing it with a blog plus two other widgets plus a content block plus buttons and all that. It's not a special page or a special feature of your website. It's just another additional, very complex, very flexible and very powerful, but it's just another widget just like any other. And that's the main difference with platforms like WordPress, where the blog is, let's say, dedicated and specific, and in that case, the core components of the website. In our case, it's just an additional widget, just like the e-commerce section. When we will talk about e-commerce, you will see that, again, contrary to other more cumbersome and, let's say, less straightforward platforms like WordPress, where you would need to install stuff and then it's all dedicated to e-commerce. In our case, it will just be an additional widget that you put in any part, in any page, in any section of your website and of your web pages. Um, um, Chandra, the other question you have is that if we use just blog widget in a page, should we still buy SSL? Well, the SSL is related to the domain. So if you want to secure your web domain and the page, because obviously every page needs to have a URL, right? An address on the web. So if you want to secure it, you need to buy an SSL. If you don't want to secure it because you say, I'm not selling anything, I'm not actually collecting passwords and all that, I'm just sharing my blog, you can somehow skip it. I honestly, at the moment, also for SEO, or let's say search engines positioning reasons, and in general to make people feel safer, even if it's just a blog, I would always add an SSL to a website. Okay, Magnetic Mark is asking. I got a non-compete agreement. I'm thinking of getting back into the travel business. My website will need to have live connection to the inventory offered by cruise lines, hotels, and airlines. How can this be done using Mobi First? Mark, let's connect about this, because this sounds like a dedicated. I mean, we can connect, we can do anything. Obviously, we need to understand what kind of APIs we are talking about. And all that. So let's connect, let's talk, give us a little bit more info through the support channels, and we'll see. Helen, I'm pretty sure I have the basic plan. Can I access the blog widget? I guess, as we said many times, Scotty, again, correct me if I'm wrong, that apart from the AI features that are dedicated to our premium members, premium and obviously white label members, all of the other widgets are available in every plan. So
Hmm.
you should have access to that.
Yep. Just
All
log in
right.
and
In
check
the
your
meantime,
widget section too.
yeah.
Yep.
In the meantime, here we have seen that our AI integration has done its job, right? So we it has created the content for us. Now, this part right here is the first section, which is a little bit specific to the blog, right? Because we have, first of all, the status, and you can have three statuses: published, which is obviously the, let's say, default, and which means that the website, the post is live. Draft, okay, so it is in the list, but obviously it's not shown in the website, so you can edit it, you can keep it there or whatever. Or we have also the no index option, right? What that means is that the post is live, okay, is viewable, is on your website, but it is in status, let's say, no index, which means that we are telling search engines not to index it. There could be any reason why we want to do that, and so that is an option that we have. Okay, so publish draft, no index. We can then also add a publish date, right? So what we could do is we could write, I don't know, 10 articles, and then we would say, okay, this one is going live this Monday, this other one is going live next Monday, and so on, right? So all we have to do is just pick a date and an hour, and then we pick the time zone, obviously. All right, so we tell the system exactly when the article should be shown on the website, right? Then we have the usual images and videos. Alt title for this image. I don't remember if we talked about this. The alt title, I think we did, but let's stress it a little bit. The alt title is a very important element, so we should always add what is called the alternative text or title. So basically, an explanation, a description of the image, and that is important for two reasons. First of all, for accessibility reasons, so for readers, for example, for visually impaired or any other accessibility, let's say, issue that we might have, the title, because an image obviously cannot be read out loud, right? So if it has a title, the system would say, here there's an image, whose title is. And secondly, for SEO purposes, because as you know, Google has a very powerful images search system, which is, if I remember correctly, like the fourth of the fifth search engines in the world, in the sense that there's like Google and then YouTube and then, I don't know, probably Facebook and then Google Images, right? It's a search engine in its own. And obviously, why, even if now Google has the capability to understand what an image is about, if we provide a title for that, it's spider indexed a lot better. So always try to provide an alternative text or a title for an image. And then obviously the slider, blah blah blah, all the other stuff. And then we can add buttons. Okay, so let's start very basically with this. Okay, so we have created the title, the main text, the status is published, and let's save it, right? So we have our blog post right here. Okay, now this is just the style. Well, this is just the styling of this blog. Obviously, forget about the style. We will delve deep into CSS in the future. So the first thing is that as you see, first of all, it's very very fast. But as you see, by default, when we have a blog, each article has the URL is created, let's say, with SEO in mind. Now, bear in mind that this is the URL is created the first time that you save the title of the blog post, right? So it was, this is the title. We'll see a way to make it recalculated, let's say. And then each article has its own page. It doesn't open in a pop-up in a modal, right? Because that's a lot more powerful for SEO purposes, and that is how we are used to deal and used to see blogs, obviously, where each single article has its own page. Okay. Now let's go now. Let's see if we have any questions. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Oh boy. I haven't tried. Okay, so Jay, I haven't tried the Mobi First AI yet, but does it require very specific detailed prompts like ChatGPT? First of all, yeah, yes, yes. Any AI that is used is as good as the prompt that you give it. In a sense that providing a good prompt allows the AI system to actually create the contents or the images, but in general, generate the contents which are targeted to what you actually needed, to what you told it to create, right? So entering very good, very specific prompt is essential for then having some good results. Obviously, as you can see here, we entered a very quick prompt, yet we got a pretty interesting content, a pretty interesting post here, right? As I always suggest, and as we do for our blog that we will share with you in the next month, most likely, this is a starting point. Okay, now I just generated some text. I mean, this is if you think about it and think about it this way, this is a enhanced lorem ipsum. Now I don't know if you know what lorem ipsum is. Basically, lorem ipsum is a way for designers, web designers, to fill the contents, to fill a website with content so that they see what the words look like and the layout looks like. Obviously, it's called lorem ipsum because it's basically takes some Latin, right, from a very specific piece of Latin in literature. I don't know why they chose that, but it's become habit to use that just to fill the space, just to see how a website, or that's true also for magazines, for paper, and all that. Generating content with AI is an enhanced lorem ipsum. Okay, so you have to read it, you have to customize it, you have to correct it maybe sometimes. It's a very good starting point, though. So don't consider this as your writer, consider this as your assistant so that you can then generate better blog posts, but always with your effort and with your revision and with your reading and all that. All right. Magnifica, yeah. Why would you ever want to have blog content that is not indexed? Advantages, Greg? No, no. It's I mean, it's just an option. By the way, count that the no index option is for any content that you could create, also for content block and for anything else. So, you never know. It's an option that you have there. Could be something that you want to share internally, for example. Stuart, that's the Mobi First AI cost per month. We have now, I mean, we used to have an offer for that, right, Scotty? A yearly
Yes,
offer for
there
that.
was an offer. Yes.
Yeah. And yes, it's a premium plan that we will share. I mean, that you can find on your platform actually as an upgrade. You should be able to find it in your platform as an upgrade option, as an option, and it's monthly at the moment. It's monthly. Chris Harris, yes, that's an. Why would you ever want to have block content that is not indexed? Yes, to give link to specific people could be an option. Do we need to add keywords in alt text? Many suggest, or we just describe the image for the readers. Your thoughts, please. No, Chandra, that's a great question actually. I would describe the image, possibly using the keyword, no, in a sense that if you, I mean, we are here. Let's say that the keyword for this blog post is mobile first web design, okay, and then we add an image. We add an image here from our global media library. Okay, so let's say something from computer. Um, and I would, add something which makes sense, so which is somehow related to mobile first web design. So I don't know. Let's pick this one for example, and so as an alt, I would type something, um, web design, computer, or something like that. So yes, a description of the image, which usually contains a keyword, not just a list of keywords like we used to do. As you have noticed, by the way, Mobifirst doesn't allow you, or doesn't include, you can do it if you really want to, but doesn't include the keywords option, the meta keywords option, which were 20 years ago, or, and maybe up until 15, no, well, 20 years ago, all the rage for SEO, right? Because you could rank and index your website for even unrelated keywords, or more general keywords. That's deprecated. Nobody at the moment uses that, so we don't even allow it, because it would be useless actually. Read, is there a widget for a one-page landing page? Well, actually, Read, you can. It's not really a widget, but we have a few pages, a few templates, which are one single pages, and with the widgets system, right? You can just compose whatever page you want with a header, with some text, and maybe a form, right? Or some prices. I don't know, a slider. So we have so many options that you can create a very flexible and a very complete one-page landing page in minutes, using all of the widgets and composing it as you really want, as you really prefer. Silvio, will Mobi first have preset prompts for website design or content? Well, Omar, we could. The AI revolution that we are living in is so new, and new jobs. And by the way, I don't know if you have read something about this. It looks like AI is becoming a little bit dumber, in a sense that while it's still very, very good for generative content, like the one, so generative AI, like the one we are using at the moment, um, complex questions get more often wrong answers, right? So I would use it for generative, to generate content, as we use it now, so as an assistant. But we are I mean, in such an early stage of this thing, that we need to still, wrap everybody as a community, for developers, for computer scientists, for users, for privacy advocates, for politicians and all that. We still need to wrap our head around that. So maybe we could have some prompts in the future. Most likely, since we use it every day, we could have some tutorials, or even maybe some courses that will teach you how to use AI effectively in general, and maybe in specific, on the Mobi First platform. um, George, yeah, if you intend to have a lot of content, what is best for SEO? Having a blog, or creating new pages for each article? The blog has really a vibe, let's say, which is extremely powerful for sharing and generating content that people will read and consume, more as something to read than as just marketing, marketing landing page, or marketing website, right? So it depends a little bit. I think the blog is always a very effective and powerful way to spread and generate and organize your content, bearing in mind, and that is why I showed you that when you click here, you go to a page. I mean, the blog is just a list of pages, right? I mean, it's not really different than having all of these as single pages and then added somewhere here. Remember that we see the web with CSS and through the browsers. The search engines see the web as content, links, other contents. So it's not that different. Think more of the user experience for your target customers, for your target users, for your target audience, and thinking about that should answer your question. Okay, George. Silvio, with AI, is there any plan to allow refining prompt for content in order to take advantage of GPT conversational progressive prompt? Yes, yes, not at the moment. In the sense that the moment it's just one shot prompt. Let's say. Yes, Rita, as usual. Sorry to interrupt my my answer, but yes, we always record it and we share it on YouTube and in the future also on. And then you'll get an email if you're here. Anyway, we were saying, Patrick. Yes, at the moment we are let's say that the AI interaction is just a single one shot. Let's say we could, yeah, we could do, since Chat GPT. I mean, the function is in the name, Chat GPT, so it's a way to engage with a bot. We could allow that. We could allow that in the future. Okay, can we add tags to pages and blogs? So how many tags do you suggest per page? Chandra, we're going to talk about tags next. That's the next topic we're going to cover in the blogs. Scotty Silvio, can you post the Mobi First blog? Not yet, in a sense, we are still working on it. We are working on a revamped, a new version of our website. We're going to post it, obviously, here, and you're going to see it very soon. I would say in about a few weeks, right? For a month. Right, Scotty?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
say?
Yes. Yeah. A
All
couple
right.
weeks.
So
In a couple
Gary,
weeks, we'll have it.
yeah, Gary, on the blog list of posts, can you go over adding the thumbnail? We just did it, and I'm gonna show you again. We're gonna go a little bit deeper on that. Will the blog post take HTML so as to monetize with something like Google Ads? Yes, of course. You can do that in many ways. One of the ways is editing the source code here, for example. But then I'm going to show you how to, and that's what a widget is for, right? So you add, for example, a widget in the page at the bottom to the right, or whatever you want, in the sidebar, for example, and you can add there any HTML that you want. Is there a separate widget for the homepage of a blog site to display like the news sites where the latest blog? No, that's another widget actually, because this, let's say, is the homepage of our blog, but we also have another widget which is called list preview, right? That does exactly what you asked for, and allows you to let's say show a preview of well, rather than a preview, a selection of a list of articles. All right. So okay, I've answered so far all the questions. So let's go back to our blog. And we were talking about tags. All right. So as you see here, we have this weekend tag. That's a classical blog thing, right? And the way we use tags is that, quite simply, you just type here mobile web, all right, and then you press either the comma or enter, right? So we have added this tag here now, all right, and you see that there are a few things happen. First of all, the article, all of the tags happen here, and so if you click, well, now obviously we only have one blog post. So now let's add another blog post. Okay. This one is going to web business with Mobi first. Okay. Subtitle, abstract. Let's build our business with Mobi first. And then here we're going to generate a text where I explain in 400 words. Let's see if they know what Mobi first is. Okay. All right. In the meantime, let's see other questions. No, we don't have other questions at the moment. All right. Anyway, so you'll see that now we're gonna have another post, and we will add another tag. Okay. So the tag will be shown next to the blog post, and then it will show at the top. Remember that I'll show you how you can hide all these tags, and you can do it, with the internal features of the blog, or you can hide it with CSS. And as usual, CSS is the preferred way because it gives you a lot more flexibility, a lot more, um, a lot more power actually. All right, so okay, starting web business with Bobby first, it's straightforward process. Okay, all right. So we have all right. So let's add this time another tag. Okay, web business, and you see that the if you start typing mobile web, you see that the tag that we had uh, before shows up. Okay, so this is an article with another tag. Okay, so now here we have two tags, mobile web and web business. So if we click on mobile web, only the one for the mobile web tagged with the mobile web tag. If we click on web business, only the other one. If we click on all, we see them all, right? We were talking about thumbnails. It's here. You add it here, right? So now let's choose an image for business in this case. All right. And then in reality, the, let's say, controls are exactly the same as the it's exactly the same that we use for the content block, right? So you can say there's just one little addition. You see, first of all, that our image has been added. Okay, and then if we click here, you see by default it is shown on the left side, but you can say in the body, or there's this additional option here, which is hide when showing this element, which means that it is shown in the list, okay, you see, but then it's not shown in the actual article, okay? That's an option that, so you want it just as a thumbnail and not shown in the actual article, because maybe in the article you then add some other images or whatever you want to add, okay? So we talked about tags, right? So we have again, and you see the tag is also here. So basically, when you click here, you then go and you see here. All right. Okay. Then another pretty interesting and specific to the blog, usually specific to the blog section, is about the author and date, right? So here we can obviously type the author name, and we can specify a date, okay? And then also a little bit of bio. Co-founder. Oh, all right. A little bit of bio here. You see the porcelain, and then when you click here, and at the bottom, you see the actual bio, right? This is useful, I mean, for managing, especially obviously when you have more than one author in a blog, and it's very useful for guest blogging, right? So if somebody wants to do guest blogging on your blog, usually they want obviously their name, and then usually they want a link in their bio, and you can do that very easily for Mobi First. This is just a link. Okay, so it's just a link, and you can do that. So people, and that becomes a link. Okay, and all that. All right. Then this is more not really for a blog, but it could be useful if you, for example, if you run a blog for, I don't know, a restaurant, or a disco place, or I don't know, a fair or something like that. So you could actually, if it's an event, you can specify, which is different than the date. The date is just the date of the publishing date, just to give like a chronological indication of when this post was posted. This is for example an event, right? So in this case you can set the date and hour in and then it lasts I don't know, 30 minutes, and we want to show the iCal save button. Now I haven't used this in a long time, so I hope it works. Yeah, you see that now you have this button right here. So if this is an event, you have this button, and if you click here, you download the ICS, so the iCal formatted file, which then you can add automatically to your calendar, right? You see that it's been added to automatically to my calendar. All right, so this is useful for, again, events, parties, webinars, or whatever. You can always add this thing. Whoops. You can always add this um, to any blog post, or also other content blocks that you might want to post on your blog. Then we have the map. That's all right. I mean, that just shows a map. We have seen this when we talked about the content block. You just type the address here, and it just shows a map at the bottom of the post. And then you can have different addresses, a text on the actual button, which is shown above the map. So let's do it. This was my address in Rome, and then click here, please. All right, so we show the address if we want to. Then we can customize the height in pixels, obviously, on desktop and on mobile, and the initial zoom. We have already seen this, but it's always good to see again this stuff. Here it is. And if you see, this is the button. If you notice, the map takes like a millisecond to actually load, and that's, as I mentioned in other webinars, that is some tricks that we play with JavaScript and deferring loading and all that, so that this page, if you notice, is very, very, I didn't even notice actually loading it. So that's one of the advantages of a platform like MobiFirst. All right, and then we have the SEO part. We already talked about this, and this is actually where you actually rebuild, if you change the title, rebuild the URL, which is another relatively interesting and effective SEO element for your blog post and for your web pages in general. If you remember, the custom URL was created when the title was "this is the title," so we just remove this and then we save it. And as you see, now the custom URL is different. So if we go back, you see that now. Okay. Now we need to save it once more because we don't have a domain for this. Okay, you see that now it is the actual URL. And again, having keywords, so mobile, for example, we said that the keyword here will be mobile first web design, having keywords in the URL too, in the H1, and you see that it's here in the title, is always very, very good and very effective in terms of SEO. Okay. Yes, then we have similar items. Okay, so we again, if we have an address, we can also have nearby items, or we can use tags for similar items, in the sense that this is done automatically, and the similar items are shown depending on the tags. So the items, the other blog posts that have the same, at least you see that you have all these options. Show items with at least one common tag, or show items where all of the tags match. Okay, but we can also select it manually, right? So now we selected this, and this should actually present us, you see, related here at the bottom. And if we click here, obviously we go to the site. Notice one thing also in this case, you see, maybe you didn't see it, but there's a little loading. And also this is loaded, let's say, deferred. It's not loaded immediately to make the page load slower, but you load the page with all of the stuff, and then while you actually are reading this, so you don't notice if you don't really pay attention to this, it doesn't slow, it doesn't affect the user experience and the page speed indexing. Okay, finally we have comments. We talked about this, and you see that is always this list default, because now we're going to see that you can manage this at the single post level where we are now. This is a single post, or we can manage this at the list level, and that's where we are going right now. not before having answered some questions. Is there sometimes when I upload picture according to the maximum requirement, once they are on the site, they look pixelated. Is there any suggestion? Alexandro, it depends a little bit. Sometimes it's enlarged, sometimes it depends on the size of the screen you're seeing it on. Give us some examples of websites, of web pages where this is happening. We will check it. As you know, we always need to balance speed optimizations and user experience, right? So the smaller an image, the faster it loads, but obviously the more pixelated it is. So we need to find a way to always deal with this balance, and not all we don't always do it right. So if you can share that, that would be great. Can the icon save to other calendars like Google Calendar? Jody, I'm not sure if I think that needs a dedicated, because the Google Calendar is like online. So so I guess not. I don't know if you can upload an ICS file, which is a standard iCal, which is a standard format. I don't know, Jody, if you can upload it to Google Calendar to save it also on Google Calendar. All right, Chandra, after publishing a URL, if we change the URL, do we need to do a 301 redirect to the original one would be on the internet? Well, you need to do a 301 redirect if that URL was indexed, right? If it was spidered. If it's in the Google index, yes, I would suggest doing it instead of a 404. And by the way, you can do that you can do that also on Mobi First. We're gonna see that in a future episode, in a future webinar, because that's another part. Patrick, that's great. Related items we can pick. Could ask to add post related item for sale? Nice tip, thank you. Well, yes, Patrick. Obviously, we are now seeing this on the blog, let's say widget, or in general in the content sharing widget. This is extremely powerful in e-commerce, obviously, because you see related items, or other people also bought, and all that kind of stuff, right? So in that case, it really is very useful to enlarge the size of the um, on the, like, let's say, cart size. Can I make a membership site with passwords with this? Yes, of course. Well, first of all, if it's a membership in a sense, like a course or some content, I would suggest exploring or trying to understand the academy. But you can do this. We saw this with the login and users, right? So what you would do basically, let's say enable login, for example. Okay, so enable login. Okay, so now you need to log in, right? Then we go in the blog page and we say that this page requires login. Okay, so very simple. Options, login and users, enable login. Then we have all of the other options that we're gonna see in another occasion, or that you can explore on your own. Okay, and then you go in the this page, not the blog page, but this page, page visibility and access require login. Okay, and we save this. All right. Okay, as you see, as soon as you try to go to this page, the system says you are not logged in, right? And then so you can register, and here you put your email and you register. Okay, and now it's visible. All right, so that's a very simple way to add a login. So that's a way to collect. Obviously, that's a lead generation mechanism, because then if you go into logins, into login and users, then you see view and download users, you see your users, right? So you can download this as CSV, and then you can upload them on Mailchimp and all that kind of stuff. All right, then you can customize a lot of stuff. You can have validation on your email, on your login, registration, and blah blah blah. All of this stuff. Okay, but that's a very simple way. As you've seen, it took us 30 seconds, a little bit more than usual because I had to explain it, but it took us 30 seconds. All right. Okie dokie. Let's
Excellent.
go back. Let's go back to our page. Visibility access, obviously require
Hmm.
login. Okay, no. We need to remove this because we need to re-enable login. Okay, and then we need to remove this. And by the way, obviously you can keep the login system even if it's not required, right? So to for other sections and for e-commerce, for example, e-commerce, you can require login to use e-commerce and all that. All right. All this being said, let's see a few other items, a few other features and elements of the blog. First of all, you can add a search form. Okay, so you do it, you click on add search form, and now you see, now obviously it needs to be updated with CSS and all that, but you can add a search form here. So if we search for business, oops, business, and then type search, you see, you search for business, so reset, and you have only, so it's a search, it's a very quick search for the blog. Then you can say near me, this is for items which have an address. So show only items near me, right? Show nearby items. Okay. Then the pagination. Okay. So how many pages or how do we want to paginate, right? Our blog, right? So normal or what is called the infinite scrolling. Like normal means that you have pages. So items per page. Zero means obviously unlimited. You don't have pages. But like you can have one. Let's see if it works with one. All right. Okay, so you see that you automatically get the page system, the pagination system. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we said that. And here, let's go back to zero. All right. Then the order, you can change the order. Okay, so if you add a date, okay, you see items order. If you add a date, you the order is from most recent to oldest, or oldest to most recent, or you can just manually order items in the list, right? So you drag and drop them, and you decide the order manually. Okay. Then if you want to use you to hide tags, right? So you just use them for example, similar items or stuff like that. So we have now hidden the tags, and as you see, the tags are gone. I mean, they're still there, they're not deleted, but they can be used just for searching, or they can be used for similar items, so they are like hidden. Okay. um, all right, all right. Then if you remember, we talked about the tabs and all that. Then you can automatically add an RSS feed, or better, the RSS feed is always there. You can automatically show the RSS icon and have the RSS feed. Here it is. Right? I don't know if you know what RSS is. It's an XML format, right, that allows you to share in a let's say standardized format content, to syndicate your content. Okay, so our blog generates an RSS feed automatically if you want to, right? And it adds a little icon right there. Okay, let's remove it. Then I know I'm going a little bit fast, but I wanted to get this, let's say, a little bit out of the way. Now, list style and layout, that's pretty self-explanatory. Columns on mobile and desktop, then the image on mobile to the left, to the right. Obviously, all this can be managed also via CSS, but it can also be managed here, right? This one is pretty interesting. Okay, show page widgets in item page. Okay, what that means, let me show you this, and then next time, I guess we're going to talk about this. Let's say that we have this page. Okay, we have this page where we have this widget. We add another widget. Remember, we started with this, and we just add a button. Okay, which it's an external link to Mobi first. Okay, and then we say click here if you dare. All right, open the same window, show them both. We want it full width. All right, and then we also add an icon at the end. All right. Okay, so you see that now in this page that we call blog, we have two widgets, the blog and the content block. Let's see it live. So we have two widgets, okay? The blog here and the content block with the button. Since we go again in the blog, since we selected show page widgets in item page, the item each is each article, is each post. This button right here, without us having to do anything, will appear also in the blog. You see? Okay. So that option allows you to basically create a structure of a page, and then the contents are just, let's say, of the blog. They are, I mean, the structure around it stays the same. So it allows you, classical example, I don't know, a lead generation form, a button to buy now, or something like that. All right. So that's what this, and if we remove it, if we set it to off, if we go in the blog page, it is there because we added this widget. But if we click on an article, it's not there anymore. Okay, because that's another page. Okay, I guess we
Yeah.
have just scratched the surface. Now, well, not
Wow.
really. We have talked about it, but there are so many other things that we can talk about, and we're going to talk about this in the next webinar. Now,
Yes. Excellent.
I'm gonna answer a little bit of questions. How do you create drop down menu pages in Mobi First blogs? Well, Jay, you can create Mobi drop down pages, and now we don't have I think we don't have the header here. I guess it's no, manually manage. Okay, so let's put back the header. But I think this widget anyway. You just move a page. Sorry, you just move a page under a sub page. So in that case, it would create a drop down at the top. But we'll see this. Yeah. Can an external link success from the RSS feeds be kept in the Mommy first site with me and redirect to the source? I didn't understand it. Can any external links access from the RSS feeds be kept on the Mommy First site? Well, the RSS feed is just another way to present your blog with the URLs, of your articles, right? It just says this blog post contains these articles with the abstract. Okay, it's just a way to syndicate your content so that RSS readers and other tools can actually read your blog and be updated because the RSS feed obviously is always up to date. Omar, Silvio, will Mobizit have built-in analytics system? No, not in the short term, because that's very very heavy in terms of first of all because we are used to very professional and in-depth analytics systems, and we will never be able to compete with Google Analytics, Mixpanel, that kind of stuff. And secondly, because there are some extremely powerful free alternatives. So I guess all you have to do is just add a little bit of code from Google Analytics or whatever else you want to use. Can I use the RSS to have the content list on the blog? In theory, yes, read, because we have an RSS reader widget, so you could use the RSS from your blog to feed it back into the RSS feed reader. I would use the list preview, as we said, but we're going to talk about this I guess in next week's webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Chandra, can we add subdomains to a page or a blog? Yes, of course. I mean, there's no limitations. You can do whatever you actually think works best. Yes. Steve, thank you so much. Thank you. Actually, I'm blown into absorb it all, but incredible flexibility built in. Thank you, Steve. Okay, Omar. Thanks for your understanding. All right, I guess that
Mhm.
was the hour. Um,
Yes, great stuff for sure. I'm sure we
um,
all learned again.
yep.
Awesome, awesome. All right, one thing that I think everybody's also seeing here is, and it's kind of what we always like to say: go in, open your platform, pick a template. Doesn't really matter, and then literally go over each and every little box that's in that template. Add something in it. See what it looks like. Also, send yourself a view on your mobile device. Send yourself that URL and take a look at it and go down and play and see what you actually can do, because there is so much that you can actually do. Just get in there and play with it and you'll be astounded every day. Thanks again, Silvio. Everybody, also great
Yeah,
questions.
I just wanted to say Al, I guess, or AI. No, I guess it's Al. Thank you.
Now,
You shared a link to a blog built with Mobi first, obviously, and I appreciated that you also added an exit intent pop up. I really like that. So that
smart.
was a great touch. That was a great touch.
Uh,
Alexandro, yes, just let's answer this to Alexandro. Is there a link to get into the last webinars, the YouTube channel? I guess at the moment, right,
yes,
Scotty, is the
yes,
best way to find
yes.
our
Yeah, it
webinars.
should be just log into your platform. As soon as you get into your home screen, you should see uh, subscribe to our YouTube channel right
Yeah,
in
and
there.
subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that
Yes.
way you'll get actual when you subscribe to it. When I put in a new, like this webinar, for example, you will get a prompt that says, "Hey, you're subscribed to this one. They have a new video, and so you'll never miss anything." Also, if you wanted to attend this Thursday, let me put it in here too as well. Go ahead and register this Thursday. We go over white label. So register right there for that one. It's at the same time. And besides that, thanks everybody.
Thank you, everybody, as usual, and see you either on Thursday or next Monday.
Yeah, thanks
Bye.
everyone.